Greetings and welcome to Unrig the Game. How's everybody doing this evening? Hope you are doing and living well. Say hello to all those people in the front row. Hey, Alexander, what's up? He's first. Daisy, she's second. Hi, Daisy. And there's Talking Trash and Truths. There we go. And to everybody else watching on Rumble and X, hello and how are you doing? Welcome to the show. This is a kickoff of the first show of the new series here, Unrig the Game. And this show is about actually just reading through some books. Hey, Suzanne, how you doing? Look at you. Got a new avatar hanging out. How you been? Hope you're doing well. So yeah, we're going to be reading through a book called Controligarchs. And it's a very good book that's going to teach us about who are the real bad guys in this world and what they're up to and how they're all connected. This is actually a really, really great book. And we're going to read it together, chapter by chapter, a couple chapters a show. So the series will at least go, for a couple of months, and then we'll see what we do from there. But I thought this is a very important book for us to read. Is of course a spinoff from the Open Conspiracy series on Unveiling Reality, and so yeah, this gives us more space, more time to actually dig deeper into the subject. And that's what we're going to be doing. You guys, if you enjoy reading books or have audiobooks running, you're going to like the show because a lot of it's going to be just that. Now, to get started, though, I figured we would watch a video that would tell us a little bit about who the author is. So this is a kind of a lengthy interview, but I'm going to speed it up to 1.5. But this is going to be our introduction to the author here. We did do a little bit of a sneak preview on Unveiling Reality. I think it was Unveiling Reality or Winning Saturday Night, one of the others, where I actually did do the intro to the book and the forward to the book. But I think in this case, we'll actually get to see, hey, it's T-Rex. What's up, buddy? I'm so happy you're here. I think you're going to really enjoy this, especially if you're driving. I'll give you a lot to listen to. I'm not going to actually read it myself. It's got a nice little voice that it'll read the chapters for us, but I'll stop and comment and we'll talk in the chat. I'm hoping that this show will actually give us a lot to talk about as we go along. So we'll be stopping and talking, and I'll be hey, hello, cool gamer, how you doing? We'll be looking, talking about the different topics and whatnot as they spring up, guys. So chat away during the book reading. If you want to ask questions, we'll stop, we'll talk, and we'll get into the details. But really, really a great book, great deep dive. Let's find out about this Arthur, though. And his name is Seamus. And let's see how I put this up here. Let's do it like this. All right. And away we go.
On the Spot with Michelle McCory is brought to you by Swan Bitcoin.
Digital IDs linked to a social credit score, a massive database, and a programmable centralized digital currency could be a reality by 2030. According to the UN's Agenda 2030, providing a legal identity for all and a digital public infrastructure is essential to achieve peace, inclusivity, and justice.
2030 is 6 years away.
And to that end, the United Nations, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and partners of the Rockefeller Foundation have recently launched their 50 in 5 campaign to accelerate digital public infrastructure.
Now, it's funny that the Bill and Melinda Gates and the Clinton Foundations were all helped. They were all helped get spun up by Jeffrey Epstein. How about that?
The aim is to facilitate digital ID, digital payments like central bank digital currencies, and data sharing rollouts in 50 countries in 5 years' time, or by 2028. Now, the digital public infrastructure, or DPI, is an all-inclusive phrase for a technocratic government.
Daisy says that the author was on Benny today. Okay, cool. Actually, at the end of the show, we're going to watch a little bit of Benny about today's Epstein drop. So I'll have a little bit of updated information for you about that. I guess the tapes and the videos and the pictures and stuff are starting to come out, so that's good.
Governance system powered by 3 main components: digital ID, digital payments, and massive data sharing. Now, DPI is being pitched as a mechanism for financial inclusion, convenience, improved healthcare, safety and security, and to progress an environmentally green agenda. But my next guest says it's all part of an Orwellian plan to exercise control and shape a dystopian future by what he calls the Controligarchs. Seamus Bruner details all of this in his latest book, Controligarchs: Exposing the Billionaire Class, their secret deals, and the globalist plot to dominate your life. Seamus is the director of research at the Government Accountability Institute, a prominent think tank based in Florida. He's known for his significant contributions to investigative journalism, and his work has appeared in top publications and has also sparked significant federal investigations. His meticulous research has led to front-page features in the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and the Washington Post, and his groundbreaking work has prompted multiple FBI investigations and congressional probes. Seamus, good to have you with us. Welcome to Kitco.
Thank you so much, Michelle. It's good to be with you.
All right, well, I read the book cover to cover, and there is a lot of ground in there, a lot of insight and tremendous background on everything from the Rockefellers to Klaus Schwab to BlackRock to Jeff Bezos, George Soros, Mark Zuckerberg, and to Bill Gates. And there's a lot of focus on Bill Gates specifically in the book and how digital IDs linked to a social credit score and a programmable digital currency, along with fake meat and a gradual takeover of America's farmland, are next on that particular Controligarchs agenda. And we want to focus on that and dive deep into that, particularly the digital ID angle here. But before we do, Seamus, give us the overview. Who and what are the Controligarchs?
Sure. So the Controligarchs are very simply the oligarchs who want to control your life. It's not every billionaire. We don't have a problem with capitalism or making money. We applaud making money in legal and fair ways. But these men have used the powers of government in their relationship with government, much like the oligarchs in other countries around the world, to seize control over key industries, whether it's food, finance, healthcare, energy, and critically information. The information industry, I mean, a lot of people think of like censorship and, they've been shadow banned or deplatformed, and obviously that's not good. But the direction that information and with the digitalization of everything, Klaus Schwab calls it the digitalization of everything. That was one of the pillars of his great reset. We're headed for some pretty scary territories, and we're already there in a lot of ways.
Right. And you mentioned Klaus Schwab, and he's a big part of the book. It discusses the Great Reset, the World Economic Forum, and Klaus Schwab. And much of this vision seems to be coming from him and his "you will own nothing and be happy" philosophy. So why don't we start off with giving us a little bit of background on
Speaking of that, speaking of deplatforming and everything else like that, guys, make sure you are following me on Rumble. So we're gonna do a lot more on Rumble this current year. We'll be doing a lot more on there. We really want to build up that channel this year. That's one of the main goals, is to get the Rumble channel really rocking up to par with the YouTube channel, and just so that it's running parallel at a similar strengths. Because as one of the little guys on YouTube, it's really easy for them to pick on me. So we're going to make sure that we can continue this no matter what happens. We'll be talking about some touchy subjects. Of course, the election starts to roll around. They'll look for anything, right? So I won't be playing their games, but I will be doing like much other of the creators and kind of like splitting my time between the two platforms. Please make sure that you are signed up on Rumble and that you are following me on Rumble, so that we never lose touch. Here we go.
Klaus Schwab. Who is he and what does he want, Seamus?
Sure. So Klaus Schwab, he's this academic type, sort of a nerdy guy who's an engineer. He studied in Switzerland, and then he came over to the United States. He went to Harvard and studied under his mentor, Henry Kissinger, who, as most people have heard of Henry Kissinger, is like the globalist's godfather. And so once he learns from Henry Kissinger, he goes back across the pond and sets up this World Economic Forum in Davos. It was previously called the European Management Symposium, which is a little nerdier than the World Economic Forum. But the World Economic Forum, it started with just $6,000 in seed money, and it has ballooned into this $300 million plus per year cash generator for Klaus Schwab and his cronies. Now, the collective market cap of just the top 25 members of the World Economic Forum is well over $10 trillion. I mean, it's an unfathomable sum. BlackRock is a key financial institution backing the World Economic Forum. That would add another $10 trillion in BlackRock's assets under management, with Vanguard and State Street, two of the second and third largest asset managers. You're up over $25 trillion in terms of the financial might of the World Economic Forum. That's higher than the GDP of the United States and also China, and of course, every other country in the world. So these are very, very powerful entities. And so what happens in Davos, I mean, these are kind of like the self-appointed hall monitors of the globe. They're the ones who put out a report saying that cows are bad for the environment. And then next thing you know, countries around the world are trying to ban cattle. And they say that cars are bad for the environment. And here in the United States, Governor Newsom in California has announced that gas-powered vehicles will be banned soon. And so out of the World Economic Forum, it kind of is this petri dish of tyrannical policies. Now, they always cloak it in words like sustainable and green and climate friendly. But when the policies are put into place, it leads to less and less control over your own life. And so, yes, I mean, starting with Klaus Schwab, and we can get into him, like in what his role in the pandemic is and what the Great Reset was into, but that's kind of the general overview.
All right. And we will get into how the pandemic really provided an opportunity to push forward some of these agendas. But before we get into that, give us a little bit more background on Klaus Schwab. Where did he spring up from? How much power does he really have? How did he accrue this power?
Sure. So his power comes from his ability to convene this forum. I mean, without the forum, he'd really be nobody. He's
Boom. Without the forum, he'd be nobody. Yet with it, he wields all this power, right? We should be focusing our energy more on dissolving that platform, dissolving that forum, right? Removing the consent for it, removing the authority for it. You take that away from them, they don't have much to go on. But right now they're riding high because no one's paying attention to that. They're worried about the other things, right? Or nothing at all.
we tried to get, a handle on his net worth. He's located in Switzerland. It's very notoriously secretive over there, but we found his house, and it's not really a house as much as it is a giant estate. It is adjacent to the World Economic Forum in Davos, the gigantic palatial estate with 10-foot high walls around it. So we know he's doing quite wealthy. I mean, the news reports that his net worth has been in news articles around $1 million for the past 25 years, and that's simply not possible. So his power comes from the corporations who fund this World Economic Forum. And so the ideas aren't so much cooked up by Davos, they're cooked up by its members, corporations like BlackRock, let's say, or the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill Gates is a keynote speaker there. Mark Zuckerberg attends, George Soros delivers keynote lectures. And so I traced the Davos white papers, and a lot of information has been scrubbed from the internet. They really only put out the good PR, not really the stuff that says, and this is how you can control citizens' lives. But going through their white papers, you find that it's actually organizations like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation who dream up the policies, and then everybody goes to Davos to get on the same page. It's really more of a bringing everybody together, syncing their strategies, getting their strategies in sync, and making sure that they all have the right talking points for how digital ID will help people, participate in society better. I mean, things like digital ID or digital currencies. I mean, Larry Fink of BlackRock recently said that we need a central bank digital currency because it will make cross-border payments for migrants who've come to the United States or come to Canada. They'll be able to send that money back home easier. So that's why we need a digital ID. And you're kind of thinking, oh, that doesn't sound so appealing, but anyway.
Well, no, there are lots of things about a central bank digital currency that are very unappealing, and we've detailed them extensively here on Kitco News, and we'll get into that. You did mention something about how the World Economic Forum has scrubbed the internet of its agenda, but it's actually quite interesting to note that they were quite open with what they intend to do. I mean, there have been YouTube videos rather posted on YouTube that were presented at the World Economic Forum, where they lay out quite clearly what they're looking at doing and how potential crises from a pandemic to a massive cyber attack could be instrumental in setting forward that agenda and how we need to.
You notice how they do those in the same order. It's always talked about in the same order, pandemic to cyber attack. So no doubt, in some way, shape, or form, they always telegraph something of the sort.
Prepare for these crises. So talk us through a little bit of some of the information that the World Economic Forum has practically put out there for everyone, and then subsequently retracted it recently.
Yeah, certainly. So they aren't very private at all about their plans. I mean, they put it out there. They do a good job of cloaking it in. This is for diversity, equity, inclusion, or this is to save the planet. And all of their ambitious, lofty goals. I mean, so yeah, digital ID is a big priority. So when Klaus Schwab announced his Great Reset, it was in July of 2020. He says the pandemic is. Everybody needs to prepare to have an angrier world. Everybody's going to be angry because the economy is going to suffer because of the lockdowns that we were advocating. Of course, they did very well. I mean, I talk about the trillions of dollars that were transferred from the middle and lower classes to men like Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, etc. But part of this so he said, so I see a need for a great reset. The pandemic has given us this opportunity. His word is opportunity. And I believe Justin Trudeau has used the same word. It's kind of funny. They all saw this tragic event as an opportunity to seize control of society. And so the four things that Klaus Schwab identifies as what the opportunity the pandemic provided is, number one, it's going to help us build back better in a greener way. And so you're in the middle of the pandemic, you're thinking, what does a virus have to do with the climate? But we're starting to see what it has to do with that. The other thing is it's going to upend capitalism. And so Klaus Schwab is not a capitalist. He has this new system that he calls stakeholder capitalism. He tries to make it sound like it's a capitalist system, but it's really not. It's much closer to China's model of state-run capitalism, which is this merger of kind of authoritarianism, but some corporations are allowed to get rich. Stakeholder notably doesn't include the people. It's the business leaders, it's the political decision makers, it's the NGO leaders. But on Klaus Schwab's list of stakeholders, we're not there. So in that sense, they're unelected leaders. They're unelected and therefore unaccountable. That's a big problem. Mm-hmm. ESG is another priority of the Great Reset, is probably number 3, and the digitalization of everything. Yeah. And so that's kind of where digital ID fits in, and central bank digital currencies is. And you think to yourself, what the heck does a pandemic have to do with digitalizing everything? And when you go through all of the World Economic Forum literature, you realize that all of these plans were well in the works before the pandemic started. And that's why the pandemic became such an opportunity. Climate change just wasn't doing it. It wasn't cutting it. People weren't willing to give up all of their freedoms to save the planet. It sounded far too ambitious. But for the pandemic, well, locking everyone down, vaccine passports provide a great entryway for a global digital ID regime. And so that's a little bit more about Klaus Schwab.
Right, and you do break again all of this down in the book in tremendous detail over there. I want to read a quick excerpt from the book where you write, COVID presented great opportunities. Schwab identified at least 5 major opportunities that COVID presented. First, the world could redefine the social contract to be more inclusive. Second, the pandemic could be used to decarbonize the economy. Third, everything that can be digitalized must be digitalized, under something that Schwab termed the fourth industrial revolution. And companies could use the pandemic to rethink their profit motive and transition to a new system called the stakeholder capitalism, which we just broke down for us. And of course, the Great Reset also meant more global cooperation or global governance. One of the things that is key to the implementation of this, as you highlight in the book, is the Young Leaders Forum, the World Economic Young Leaders Forum, and they're amongst the most powerful people in the world. Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, Palantir's Peter Thiel. That was quite surprising to me that Peter Thiel, the co-founder of PayPal, was a young leader. The founder of Wikipedia, Jimmy Wales, the Rockefeller Foundation President Rajiv Shah, the co-founder of YouTube, Chad Hurley, just to name a few that are part of this World Economic Forum Young Leaders ensemble. Break that down for us a little bit more, how that helps shape the vision.
Certainly. So the World Economic Forum is a powerful organization. And if they tap you to be a member of their Young Global Leaders Club, the YGL club, a lot of people will take them up on it. It will advance your career. But it really shows that the alliance to the globalist vision starts at a young age. I mean, these people, some of these people were not very powerful when they were named to a young global leader. And once they become that, they kind of, the doors open to them. And from corporations who are members of the World Economic Forum, they'll be more likely to hire a young global leader. They'll be more likely to support a candidate running for office if they've been a young global leader. And so prior to maybe the pandemic, this would not have, it's kind of become a toxic brand now in a lot of ways. Right? So if you're running for office and it suddenly comes out that you were a young global leader, people will be immediately suspicious of your allegiance, whether you're allied with the country or whether you're allied with Davos. But prior to the pandemic, I mean, the World Economic Forum was not a very well-known organization. And so a lot of people became these young global leaders, and now they can't really shake the brand. Yeah. Like Tulsi Gabbard will, for example, in America, will have to answer questions, or there's some senators who were young global leaders who have to answer questions about it. And they probably wish they weren't young global leaders.
Yeah, I think Senator Tom Cotton is one of the senators that you mentioned in the book, and his general ideology does not seem to be aligned with what you would expect from the World Economic Forum. More on that, you write in the book that the World Economic Forum has declared a bold agenda among its ambitions: the abolition of private property and personal privacy, the elimination of fossil fuels, a global transition away from animal protein to an insect-based food system. You'll owe nothing, the World Economic Forum is famously assured, ominously adding, and you'll be happy. So as we've discussed, it's been very open.
Vic, we have a $10 super chat, small token to wish you luck with the new show. Thank you so much, Shelly. I appreciate that. And we shall see. Here you go. Thanks again for the super chat. I appreciate it.
About what it wants to do. Why are these their agendas?
Yeah, it almost sounds like a threat, doesn't it? You will own nothing, but you will be happy. Like, you don't really have a choice here. They don't believe in private property ownership. Klaus Schwab doesn't. I mean, they want to bring about a renter-based economy where you don't own your house, you don't own your car. They think it's a brilliant and lovely idea, but most people don't want to be a renter for life paying someone else's mortgage in a property owned by BlackRock or Blackstone. And effectively what that looks like is it's a paywall around your entire life. I mean, like, you get to a website or something, you hit the paywall. That's not so fun. They want a subscription-based lifestyle. And you see it, like, member corporations of the World Economic Forum, they've really adopted this subscription model type business model where like Mercedes and BMWs, if you want to access various features on the vehicle you're driving, I mean, you've already paid for the vehicle, but if you want to have the remote start function for the vehicle, you have to pay an extra $10 a month. If you want heated seats, you have to pay another $5 a month. So you can quickly see how it gets out of hand. And like, I mean, you won't be able to afford nice things. And they're kind of seemingly on board with that.
Well, I mean, arguably you can say that that's a revenue model, right? Continued revenue stream once you sell the car to, maintain, as I say, revenue for the company. But in terms of what the World Economic Forum says is the overriding premise, I mean, they sort of put this under the umbrella of trying to protect the planet, right? I mean, isn't that sort of the overarching theme, that it's all for your own good? It's actually quite benevolent, and we're doing this to preserve and protect the environment and the planet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who could be against protecting the planet? I mean, I don't think anybody wants to kill the planet or to hurt the planet in any way. And that's why it's an unassailable mission, unless you have the facts. And the facts are that these are not about saving the planet. I mean, whether it's the electric vehicles or the lab grown meats. I mean, both electric vehicles and lab grown meats are much more carbon intensive than their natural equivalents. Just ask farmers. I mean, nobody knows how to be sustainable better than a farmer. They've had the farms in their families in some cases for generations. They know about resource exhaustion. That would kill their business. So they don't want to exhaust resources. Nobody knows sustainability better than farmers. And yet they want to put the family-owned farms out of business and use the more carbon intensive type farming practices. So, if you just a little bit of scrutiny, and you can see these guys aren't about saving the planet. It's, the obvious headline that happens every year around Davos is, look at them flying on their private jets. Right. They don't have to fly on their private jets. They could use Zoom and Skype like they forced the rest of us to do.
Or fly commercial, heaven forbid. Or they could fly commercial.
Totally, exactly right. And they've already, you know, written in exemptions, I believe in the UK or in Europe, where private jet travel will be exempt from like net zero and Agenda 2030 restrictions. So of course, it's always going to be rules for thee, not for me, when you're talking about people like Klaus Schwab.
Right. And again, in your book, you detail the war on farmers, how Bill Gates has been buying up much of America's farmland, the agenda there. So I really encourage our viewers to read the book to get the detail. But I bring it back to digital IDs and the DPI system because it seems to be such a central key to implementing much of this agenda in terms of the control that you can exercise once you have a digital ID linked to a digital central bank currency. So help us understand what this universal or digital ID entails. What does it look like? What kind of information would be in it? How would it function within the broader system?
Sure. So Bill Gates has been talking about digital ID for over 10 years. I mean, you know, as cell phones and smartphones were kind of getting launched in the mid and late 2000s, he was saying cell phones are going to be great because you're going to be able to store all of your vaccination records on them. You're going to be able to store your medical records on them. You're going to be able to link all of the information about yourself on one device. So that's kind of when he first starts talking about digital ID, is when smartphones were coming online. And since then, I mean, there's been a huge initiative called the ID 2020. It's funded by major corporations, not just Bill Gates, but Mark Zuckerberg and Google and basically all of the big tech companies. BlackRock, George Soros' Open Society Institutes is behind it. The idea behind a digital ID is that essentially it could be a social credit score. I mean, if you're too polluting, I mean, there's credit card companies right now that track your carbon purchases, and if you spend too much money on fuel or carbon-based type products, your credit score goes down. That's exactly, I mean, that you see that sort of desire amongst these globalist elites where they can monitor your spending, monitor like
Yeah,
what
they'll
you're
do that. They're going to start
into.
doing that.
I mean, of course, you
as
see the
to, like,
censorship
what
on big tech
content you
platforms.
consume
If
as
you're
well.
speaking, in opposition to any of this kind of stuff, you'll get censored and shadow banned. So why not do that to your finances and using a digital ID? And so the digital ID is one of those things where the pandemic, actually really did advance the agenda there with the vaccine passports. Of course, you saw that in Canada, but we also saw it in the United States. In cities like New York, you couldn't get into a restaurant if you didn't have the vaccine.
I think we got a good idea
Hawaii.
of who the author is, how into the topics he is, and what he knows as far as it's going on. I want to go ahead and get into the book, because that goes on. And if you want to see the rest of the interview, I'll throw the link out in the chat. But I want to go ahead and get started with what we're doing here, which is actually reading the book itself. And let me see. Here is the link to the article, link to the rest of the interview. Bruner, okay, interview. All right, there you go. And it's out. So let's go ahead and get the show on the road here. All right, there's that. Need this. Yeah, I'm excited to get this book started. You know, when's the last time you read a good book, right? And let's see, I add this to here. Oh, and then I do this, right? It's the audiobook one. Yes. All right, here we go. We're gonna get started here. So, like I said, chime in with questions, comments, everything like that. I will be watching, and let's listen to a good book read. We're gonna do chapters 1 and 2 tonight. Let's see, we're at the introduction here. Okay, we don't need that. Oh, do we need the introduction? See, I did the opening credits. I did the forward. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and jump into chapter 1. All right, the good club. Here we go. All right, let's do it again. Please ensure the content owner has added your channel to their allow list. Well, it didn't tell me who they think it belongs to. That's the problem with YouTube right there. Right there. Is that they don't tell you who the hell it belongs to. So if you've enjoyed this content and you want to hear more, we're going to have to finish this on Rumble. Well, that's interesting because I didn't think that reading an audiobook would somehow, or just going over an audiobook would somehow, see, now it's just excellent condition again, would somehow cause this to happen. But we can't let them stop the show, can we? All right, I didn't want to have to do this. I was hoping this would be a nice YouTube series. But again, I think it's just the writing's on the wall for YouTube and me. At least for today. I probably just keep it as an entertainment, as a volley point, like meet up and volley over to Rumble, and then keep the weekend entertainment shows. It's the thing that I struggle with is that I've done this for over a year now, like well over a year, and I've been able to. I guess I'm in new. Hey Scott, what's up? How you doing, man? Try playing it in the background. Yeah, that's the move they will follow. I hope they will. I hope they will. You can't do as many cool things over on Rumble as you can on YouTube. I tried moving it down here to the bottom here where you could barely see the thing, and they're just picking up on the audio. So I don't know who they're trying to claim it already owns this, but I mean I bought the freaking book. Like that's the reason why I have it here, because I bought the book. The book belongs to me. Audiobooks are probably in YouTube's content ID system, the publisher. Maybe. I'm just wondering how that works. So I always thought it had to be on YouTube. But I guess movies and other things like that, they can get it as well. And hell yeah, of course they're connected to Amazon, I'm sure, you know. So now I just said it again. It just came up again, said I'm wondering if it's just picking up on the book, the background. It just came up a minute again said I was using other people's content, but I'm not. Right now, nothing's playing. Hold on. Like, even if I take that away, nothing is playing. As the crowd hangs on for the rest of the book. All right, so don't worry about the YouTube stuff. It's just really strange. Let me just change the background again. Because I've done a lot of different things on here, and I just haven't run into these kind of issues before. Like, entirely, right? In the middle of a stream, reading an audiobook. I thought there's no way this could totally they could totally get to this one, right? As much as people can replay other content on YouTube. Anyways, I want to finish this chapter, and we'll have to figure out what to do with this show if that is the case. Again, like I said, I think a lot of things are going to be Rumble exclusives. Maybe we just do a warm-up show. So it's going to make my YouTube numbers like shit, but it is what it is. Right now YouTube's like draining, like they're draining off old accounts. So like I'm just been dropping subs left and right because they older accounts that aren't there anymore are not in use or being taken off the platform. They're doing a purge right now, and bigger channels with more numbers, like get the higher subscriber accounts, you tend to see a lot of drop off during those times. Okay, so yeah, already posted the redirect to Rumble. Okay, guys, let's head over to Rumble so we can get this thing finished. Again, at the end, we're going to do some more videos and stuff like that. So we'll figure out a way to make Rumble work, and hopefully Rumble will make it easier on us as well. But hey Scott, do you have a Rumble account, dude? Yeah, is it the AI purge? Is that what it is? Yeah, they're gonna hate me. I got tons of AI stuff on mine. Scott, do you have a Rumble? The Rumble link's in the chat, man. I wanna see you over on Rumble, dude. Yeah, we'll help build your Rumble channel up too. Maybe we all need to like focus on Rumble this year, like big time. That way, here's the other thing too. And over Rumble, like assholes that are out there with nothing better to do than just fuck with your channel, they can't do anything. They can't do anything to you over there, right? They just have to sit there and eat it. And on here, they don't have any friends or a life, so that they, all they do is sit around and try to figure out how to make other people, let's see who's got it. Yeah, I'll check Rumble. My buddy uses it. Yeah, dude, definitely check it out, man. It's going to be the place we have to go to talk any kind of freedom. I mean, any kind of like legitimate topics, right? It's not this. Hey, pay attention to this while the world burns. The plus, like I want you to. I love it when you come to the show and you're part of it. So please join us over there, because a lot of things I think are going to be going over there this year. But speaking of going over there, let's do that. I don't want to bail on this video on YouTube because we've been going this long already. But you got to do what you got to do. Rumble is freedom. I know it is. Okay, so people know to find us on Rumble now. I do have the Rumble link pinned at the top of the chat. And I can see that people are already starting to pile into Rumble. Yay, Rumble, 14 watching on that side. So let's get going. And I'll see you over there.
Man, everyone's tensed up for a rumble.